I honestly, truthfully do not know how to socialize, and I spend so much time thinking trying to figure out if I'm doing if there's something that I'm supposed to be doing or I'm trying to figure out I just spend so much time thinking about what's the problem or is there something wrong like with the way that I think about other people? Am I not thinking about them like they're real human beings or something? Because I'm just around people and I don't have the urge to speak to them. I don't know if like I just don't have chemistry with people. I'm just not compatible with people. That's why my assumption was, but then I'm also is there just something that I'm not doing that I should be? Is there something wrong with my heart posture, or is just this the way that I am? And I don't understand. 'Cause when I think about the people at my job, and you know, if I think about all the guys at my job who are around my age, there's nobody who I would really be friends with. And it's I don't think that that's something bad. But there's girls and I'm maybe I would be friends with them. But also I'm well, no, I don't think so. But also, I mean, I've barely talked to them. The guys, it's a lot more obvious because they will talk first. But girls are shy. But the guys, like a lot of guys just kind of um how do I say this in the most loving way possible? Basically, I get annoyed or irritated. Um and I don't really have things in common with these guys. Um oh, I had to yawn there. Um I imagine I'll probably do that again. Anyway, so I'm thinking about the older people maybe. And it's is there something that is there something wrong with my mindset? Maybe with the older people. So men and women, older people. Um, and actually, the thing is that with some older women, I do actually get along pretty well with them. Um, but they keep disappearing. Uh, at least there was two women at my job who I was getting along really well with. Actually, there's been four. So two of them got along pretty well with, but they just disappeared, and I don't. They went somewhere else. Um, and then there's one woman. I'm yawning again. One woman who I got along with, fairly well, but we're also fairly, very different in some ways. Pretty much the main thing we've got going is we've got a similar sense of humor, but that's about it, really. Um, other than that, we're very different people. Um, I don't know if you heard that. Some ice just fell off the roof. Oh, it looks like it showed up on the recording. It was like a big bang. Might happen again. Um, and then there's another woman who I haven't seen in 2 days, but she might still be around. I don't know. I'm hoping that she is, but anyway. And then back to the younger, with older people, I kind of get along with older women. With older guys, um, it's I don't know. It's there's not really anything there. It's just the lack of chemistry, or camaraderie or something. It's just not there. And it's kind of like that with the younger guys too. It's just like, oh, okay, yawn again. Um, it's just like there's just isn't like I don't know. Um, it's like that Zoolander thing. I'm not your bruh. Then with the younger girls, it's like they either want you or they don't want anything to do with you, I feel like. Or maybe like I don't know. And I mean it's partially me too, but to be honest, just what I would basically I just want to talk about like video games and movies, really. Like that's really all I want to do. Um I guess I feel like it's like I basically want to talk about my special interests, right? I guess there's a few other things I could talk about besides the video games and movies, but I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk about these things. I don't think they really care about what I think about these things. At least not, it's like maybe I'll just start talking about Daggerfall. So like I've been playing Daggerfall a lot recently, and I actually recorded a previous audio for it, but I recorded a few of them and I'll have to like stitch them together if I end up doing that. But installed some mods for it to increase the view distance. And I increased the view distance and modified the terrain so it's more realistic. And basically what I can do now is travel across like this country-sized map and feel what it feels like to travel across such a vast space. And like I spent a few hours the other day traveling through the what's it called? Is it it's a mountain range that's in Oblivion. I'm gonna look up a word um and see if I'm getting it right. Like it's a mountain range in Daggerfall and Oblivion. Oh, maybe this is it. The Rothgarian Mountains, yeah. It's this region in Daggerfall, and you can also it also shows up in the Oblivion game, I'm pretty sure, or at least you can see it on the map. So I was in that region, and I just was traveling through it on my horse for like 2 hours the other day, and frankly, I was having a blast. It was just so fun to travel through such a large space. At one point, I got like a notification because I like sped up the process for a few minutes at one point with another mod that lets me fast travel basically. But what it is doing is it makes my character move towards the location at 10 times speed or whatever speed I set it to. So my character was doing that, and then I got a notification that was like, oh, I'm past a dungeon. So I hit the stop button as quickly as I could, and I tried to look around and find this dungeon, but I couldn't find it. So, because I was like in a forest, like in the mountains. So I just couldn't find where this dungeon was. And also, like nighttime fell and I had to like fight monsters and I just lost my sense of direction. But so I kept traveling, but this after that I didn't speed up anymore and I just travel at a normal pace. And so maybe like I traveled for like 45 minutes and this is in between like a few sessions. I wasn't just maybe I would like play for 20 minutes and then I would quit and then like come back the next day and like play 20 more minutes. So like 45 minutes worth of playtime later, I come back and I'm traveling through these mountains in this forest and I'm taking screenshots and I'm just marveling at it. And I have this telescope mod, so I pull out my telescope at one point at random and I just look across like this valley at these other mountains, these hills, and through these trees, and then I see something that I wouldn't have been able to see if the game's engine didn't make the object appear um, different, like different in the lighting compared to the trees around it. So like the trees around the object were affected by a fog that was really heavy, but the object wasn't. So I went to that location, made a beeline for it, and I knew what it was. It was a dungeon entrance. So I found this random dungeon in the middle of the map that wasn't available to for me to find on my map by default unless if I stumbled upon it or if an NPC told me about it. And I did stumble upon it. And that was so cool that I basically did it again because like uh, the actual distance I had to travel to find that dungeon like it's crazy. And the fact that I even saw it, I just happened to take out my telescope. This was like the first time I had done this in like 10 or 20 minutes anyway. I just happened to take it out and look around and see it. I could have so easily missed this dungeon and walked right by it and never knew it was there. But I did find it and I cleared it and then I just walked back out. And then later I went to the Alakir Desert and I was trying to make like a video so that I could show somebody on Discord what it looks like when I'm traveling through the landscape. I'm gonna have to pause because I got a call coming. Okay, so I'm currently playing Daggerfall right now because while I was on the phone, I started up Daggerfall and I started playing. I don't remember where I left off, but basically, I'm just fast traveling um, for hours and hours. Like, my character is on a 47-hour journey right now in his time to another town just because it's fun. And I don't even really want to go into dungeons anymore because this is a lot funner. But I think I left off, I was saying, like, yeah, I was fast traveling in the desert and. Or no, I wasn't fast traveling. Well, maybe yeah, I was a bit. But just taking the time to walk through these huge expanses is so fascinating to me for some reason. Okay, it says enemies are seeking to prevent your travel. So I've got a orc to kill, which are very easy to kill, and he's dead. Now I'm going to let my character rest. Um, and it says his enemies. Now there's a tiger, which I'm going to save for because it might kill me. But I should kill it. Yeah, it's dead. Now I gotta heal again. Okay, now it's daytime. I was traveling at night. Um, because when you try to rest during the night, I have found that you get attacked a lot, and so I was just trying to avoid being attacked. But I would really like to spend the time um, to walk in real time on one of these journeys. I am pretty sure that 1 hour for my character is not the same as an hour for me. So, for example, I don't know how long a 24-hour journey for my character would last for me. I'd probably have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that game time is different than my time. Um, at least I hope so. But it just when I'm fast traveling, I do it at about 10 times speed, and because if I go any faster, the game just bugs out and I fall through the ground into nothingness. so I can't go any faster than that. But on 10 times speed, I've been still been playing for about 20, 25 minutes, maybe a half hour even here. Um, and for this current journey, I guess I've probably been going for about 10 minutes, and it's crazy how I see the horizon so far away, and then I get there, and there's another horizon far away again, and I get there again, and it just keeps happening. And there's just so much space between the locations in this game. And occasionally you'll come across a small farmstead or a town somewhere, and it really feels like an actual desert. I really wish I remember where I left the recording off of, because I feel like I feel like I was saying something that I would have liked to continue talking about, but now I'm not sure what it was. I mean, I might have just continued right where I left off. Right now I'm traveling to somewhere called the Thirsty Castle Inn, and I'm traveling there from a temple of Stendar in the Alakir Desert. I just bought a book about the Alakir. I don't know if I'm even going to read it. I don't really tend to read very much in these games. Um, like, every time in Skyrim, oh, I think I see a dungeon or something. Every time in Skyrim or Oblivion or even Morrowind, when I would read, I basically had to force myself to do it because I just enjoyed the gameplay more. And I mean, obviously, I like learning about the lore. I think that I would just rather somebody narrate it to me, though, than me have to read about it. Like, there's something so strange about staring at a computer screen to read. I would rather stare at a physical page where my eyes aren't being subject. Like, I'm literally staring at light. It's so weird to me that I'm actually just staring at light for hours when I'm on the computer. Very strange. And it seems like the location I have stumbled upon just now is a graveyard, which I can actually enter. Um, it's kind of disrespectful, but I can do it anyway. So I'll see what's here. But yeah, basically, I've been playing Daggerfall a lot, and like whenever it's like I just want to talk about Daggerfall, so I want to talk about video games and movies with people. So I'm kind of doing it right now, and if you're listening, I mean, I hope you like Daggerfall. But it's to the point where like I can even listen to somebody on YouTube, and this is usually how I use YouTube. Like there was this guy called Panic Man 10, and he would just talk about Elder Scrolls games in some of his videos. And some of his videos were like an hour and a half long, and I would just listen to those on days where I was off work, um, because I like them. Like I like it. I like listening to people talk about things that I find kind of interesting for hours. Um, okay. Um, and so I guess like I don't know if I really like talking. Like some things I do like talking about for a long time. Like I don't know how I'm still talking about Daggerfall because it's a pretty simple game, but I am enjoying it a lot more. Um, I'm gonna still say that I think that actually the reason I was playing Daggerfall in the first place is because of this guy Panic Man 10, because he's played a bunch of the Elder Scrolls games. He's an older guy. He's like I think he actually might have just turned 60. Actually I think he's like 57 right now. Um, and he like grew up in the 80s and everything. Um, but he was saying like Skyrim is the worst Elder Scrolls game, and I just don't agree with that. And basically, he had all these different reasons for it, and I'm not going to get too much into it. But one of the things he was saying is, the reason that people think that Skyrim is the best Elder Scrolls game is because they've never played the other ones. But the thing is I have played um, all now I've played all of the games. I haven't completed the Daggerfall main quest. Um, but I've completed Morrowinds and Oblivions and Skyrims, and I have not played enough Arena. The last time I tried Arena was a few days ago, actually, because I've always kind of liked the story of Arena. Um, okay, I just discovered ruins. I don't know why. Now I'm recording. Suddenly I'm finding a bunch of locations. That's pretty cool. I don't know where these ruins are. Oh, I see them. I think. This should be a dungeon. Yeah, this is a dungeon. I'm probably not going to go into it, and maybe I'll come back later because it's marked on the map now. But I mean, all the dungeons in this game are really the same, so it's not really anything special, I don't think. Maybe I can step inside real quick and just see what I think. He was basically saying that the reason people think that Skyrim is the best Elder Scrolls game is because they haven't played the other games. Well, now I have, and I still think that Skyrim is the best Elder Scrolls game. And I have my reasons for that, and I talked about that one of the last times. Okay, there's a giant scorpion in here. I don't like that. That's not a good omen because the scorpions in this game will paralyze me, and I'm just not really a fan of paralyzation. Um, although I have a spell of free action, which I think is actually a counter to it. I'm not a fan of... Actually, I'm going to leave this dungeon because I just don't even want to do this right now. I'm not a fan of Daggerfall's dungeons, to be honest with you. I'm a fan. I think that Skyrim's dungeons are the best, and I know that with a lot of Elder Scrolls players, that's considered not a good take for different reasons because I think that people basically say that Morrowind is the best Elder Scrolls game, and I guess I've realized that the reason that I enjoy these games has so little to do with the actual mechanics of gameplay, and also very little to do with the actual lore of the game. Um, I mean, I wouldn't say it has so little to do with the mechanics of gameplay, but I mean, yes, I don't really care about like the whole RPG systems, and I'm not really a big lore person. I know a bit about lore, but I'm really not um, very geeky about it or nerdy about it or anything. And it's just not very interesting to me. Even though I would say that the Elder Scrolls is my favorite fantasy setting, probably. I wouldn't say it's my most. I don't respect it the most. I respect probably Narnia the most, but Elder Scrolls is probably my favorite. But there's a lot of things like if I had created the Elder Scrolls world, I probably would have removed a lot of things. Actually, I don't even know if I could say that the Elder Scrolls is my favorite fantasy setting. Um, I don't know if I could actually say that because I can think of like other other things. It's just that I've played so much Skyrim and Oblivion and Morrowind and things like that. I don't know. I've spent a lot of time interacting with this fantasy world, I guess. I like it. Whatever. It's not what I'm trying to talk about right now. But it's really interesting to me, like how I, I don't know. I just don't find like some things in the lore can be kind of interesting. But a lot of these things I just don't really care very much about. And when people have these discussions about things like how in Morrowind you have to basically pick yourself up by your bootstraps, but like in Skyrim it's like a power fantasy where you're the chosen one. I don't really see any problem by default in storytelling with making video game character, the Chosen One, just like that. Like the one thing that I can see that is very stupid is how when you're the Thane of Whiterun or like any other location, I guess, if you murder somebody, you can get away with it once. Like that is ridiculous. So like I can see things like that bothering people, but when it's a whole discussion where like somebody just prefers how they were nobody in Morrowind versus being the chosen one in Skyrim, they criticize they criticize being the chosen one as if it's just by default a flaw in storytelling. I don't know. Um like people will say things like they'll act like their opinion is objective, I guess. I don't know. Um I don't understand why people care so much about levitation being removed from Morrowind, or I mean being removed from Oblivion and Skyrim. Um, it, I don't know. It was such a small, like it's a cool thing in Morrowind, but it's brought up over and over and over again, and it's like it's only one ability. It's not even something that really would have added to Oblivion or Skyrim. The game wasn't designed with the ability in mind to be there. So I don't understand why people make such a big deal out of it, to be honest with you. Um, I just killed a Nightblade who tried to assassinate me. What's the other thing? Oh, like fast travel? People talk about like fast travel in Skyrim where you can just do it without, like going to somebody to pay for it because they're like, oh, Morrowind fast travel is the most immersive. Okay, this game has had fast travel where you could just do it since Arena. Literally the first game you could just do it, and you can just do it in Daggerfall too. Um, I don't understand. Like for some reason, I don't even understand why Morrowind didn't have default fast travel. I don't know what their design decision was there, like why they did that. It was probably because you would be able to complete quests way too quickly if they allowed that, honestly. You would get through Morrowind too quick. Um, but anyway, the Morrowind praise is definitely out of control. Um, it's it's too much. Like people are like, "Oh, this is clearly the best Elder Scrolls game," and it's like, no, it isn't. Skyrim is the best Elder Scrolls game. Skyrim is the best Elder Scrolls game. Like it absolutely in certain ways is flawed in ways that the other games aren't, and it has shortcomings that the other games do better at. But just overall, Skyrim is clearly the best Elder Scrolls game. Like by a lot, and it's not even close. But I don't know. Like you don't have to like it. Obviously, you don't have to like it as much as the other. Like you can like another game more. It's fine. There, but Skyrim is obviously the best Elder Scrolls game, and I'm saying this as I'm very much enjoying myself playing Daggerfall in the most artistic way possible right now, where I am literally just watching my character travel in a straight line across a desert because I like the feeling of being on a long journey on a horse through this vast expanse of empty wasteland and occasionally killing something with my sword. I'm enjoying this very much, and this is not an experience that I can get really in any other Elder Scrolls game. Um, and that's the thing about this whole thing. It's like all of the games are so different from each other. It's almost not even fair to like say like, oh, this one is better than that one, even though I am saying that Skyrim is better than all of them. Just just objectively it is. It's almost not even fair to like put the games up against each other because if anyone would say like Daggerfall or Morrowind or Oblivion or Skyrim is their favorite Elder Scrolls game, then I would understand why they could feel that way. And like I get it. Like I get why you might pick one over the other as your favorite, or you might have a special place in your heart because they're all cool. They're all awesome games. They're all amazing, wonderful games. So fun, so awesome. But I guess people just look at the mechanics and like the programming and they see that as the game, but for me it's like what I get out of these games is just something else. I don't play an Elder Scrolls game for the mechanics, okay? Like why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't know why you would do that. Um, that is not why. Yeah, like no, not for me. Uh, but I don't know. I'm trying not to be judgmental, but I guess people get hung up on like the attributes and the skills and everything. And to be honest, these things just literally don't matter to me. Um, like when I was making my own Skyrim mod, which I stopped doing, but when I was designing it and I was thinking of how I wanted the gameplay to feel, it basically came up to the because no, notice I it's not about how the gameplay works that's important. It's how it feels that's important in my mind. But when I was thinking about how the mechanics work, I basically came to the conclusion that the best way that I could give the experience that I wanted to for this, it was basically an overhaul mod where I was creating my own world. Um, the best thing that I could do was to disable leveling entirely and to only make the player get why are there still enemies nearby? Every time I'm not trying to travel. How do I use magic? Okay, I'm dying. Where's the enemies? I swear that the key to use magic, it is G. But when I press G, it's acting like I'm trying to travel, and I'm not. Okay. I don't know where the enemies are. I came to the conclusion that the best way to provide the experience that I was trying to go for was to disable leveling and basically to make it so that the character gained power or the player gained power by discovering items in the world. Basically by exploring and finding potions and magic swords and better armor and things like that, right? Um, because like I just don't want to deal with the whole leveling system, and I want to be able to control how powerful enemies are in encounters and how hard encounters are without having to try to figure out like the whole uh like because in Skyrim basically it's like the whole leveling up thing in the RPGs is almost a hindrance for the designers when they're trying to design encounters, and that's why like it makes it harder for the developers because they're trying to provide a fun experience all throughout. And so they have to try to figure out how to make it so that you can level up your skills and also have fights be engaging and interesting and fun throughout your whole journey of playing. So somehow you have to gain power. You have to gain power without the game becoming so easy that it becomes boring, which is really weird when you think about it. And basically the solution that they've been doing for like the past 3 games at least, I don't know how Daggerfall and Arena work, is they make the game a bit harder. Like they overdid it in Oblivion, but they just make the game harder the more powerful you get. And it's like, what's even the point of becoming more powerful anyway? Um, but anyway, it's like you don't even need um attributes and skills and perks and whatever else to make an RPG game. Like not really. Like not the way that they're doing it. Not with all the numbers. Is my character sick? Okay, no they're not. Uh, like you could make an RPG where instead of saying like, oh, your sword skill is 57 and your magic skill is 10, so basically you can't use magic because your magic skill is just that low. You could instead just like hard lock that character from using magic at character creation and say that they are a warrior, that they're a swordsman, and then like they're like boom, you have the exact same thing that you're going for, and now you're role playing as a swordsman without having to like do the complicated numbers and like the leveling up and the attributes and like, oh, it's based on your strength or your agility or whatever. Like you don't have to do all that when you're programming everything as far as I'm concerned. So it's like when I was designing um basically my own game within Skyrim's engine and assets, I wanted the character to be able to use both like one-handed and two-handed weapons, and I didn't want them to start with any spells because I didn't want the player to be able to heal themselves right off the bat, like, and I didn't want them to be able to design their own potions because I don't like the idea of somebody being able to break the game and like design potions that are just broken. Like it just doesn't seem, that's not really fun or interesting to me. Like, oh, you gamed the system and now you're using a potion that does 10,000 damage. There's nothing very interesting to me about that. And I also don't like how in all these games you'll get like minor healing potions that heal like 10 health, and then you find like hundreds of them, and you're constantly using all these small items. When you think about it, I mean, obviously, like 10 minor healing potions that heal 10 health, which you might use all at once in one fight, is basically the same as just using one healing potion that heals 100 health. So why doesn't the game just chill out a little bit with how many healing potions it's giving you, and instead of giving you 10 minor healing potions, why not just remove minor healing potions from the game pool and only give the player 10% of that, of what they would have gotten, and make each potion 10 times more powerful, right? Like, it's so much more interesting to because like you could get into a fight where you take 50 damage and then you're like, oh well, good thing I have 10 potions that heal 10 health, because now I can just drink 5 of them and I still have 5 for later. But if you only had one potion that healed 100 health, then you would have to sit there and think, should I actually drink this? Now, obviously, that choice doesn't really matter too much most of the time, because if you survive that fight, you can basically just rest and then get your health back. Um, but at least in the middle of the fight, that's a more interesting choice to have to decide if you want to use that 100 health potion, even though it's a bit overkill. And it just makes the item more special and fun when it is very powerful but rare. And that was how I wanted potions to be. And I also think that the potion making in all the Elder Scrolls games is lame. Like, it's lame and stupid. I don't even think that it's fun. And I don't understand how anybody thinks that it's fun. I think that gathering ingredients is kind of interesting. I've always liked how, especially in Skyrim, how you can go up to a mushroom and pick it, and then you can see that mushroom and like rotate the actual object and look at it. And I like how, in theory, there's the um, like it depends on where you can get an ingredient by where you are in the map, because of like geographical reasons or whatever. That's really cool. I'm not even sure necessarily how it works, but like a purple mountain flower, for example, as far as I know, you can only find purple mountain flowers, or at least you should only be able to find purple mountain flowers on a mountain, because it's a mountain flower. And like certain, like the glowing mushrooms, you can only find in caves because it's a glowing mushroom. So like that's where it belongs. So all these different ingredients, they actually have like places you can find them. The problem is that in these games, you can never really pick up a book that will just tell you where to find things. You kind of like have to look it up on the wiki or something, which is really strange because I mean, the games have books that like they should have more books that can tell you information like this. And it would make sense in lore. Like it wouldn't even be breaking immersion or anything. You could just have like an alchemist tell you where to find each ingredient in the game with this big book, and people could read it. Or like you could have a I don't know if it's a bestiary or a bestiary. Bestiary is probably right. Like you could have something like that that would just tell you about the different monsters. Um, but you don't really get that. Like there's like instead it's like on a loading screen or something. I don't even really know what I'm talking about. And I finally arrived at my destination in Daggerfall. I think I'm here to take an item back from a thief, if I recall. Um, let's see. Tell me, yeah. The Hearthcroft residence. I'm looking for a thief, I think. Um, I'm inside the Hearthcroft residence, so the thief is somewhere here. Um, there he is. I know this guy. Beard of the Dwarf King. The temple hired a bounty hunter just to get back their worthless common symbol? By the maiden, it sure ain't worth dying over. Here, take it. Now we'll see if you think it's worth dying over. Help, this Khajiit is making off with our loot. Toldan tosses you the common symbol, then vanishes into the shadows. Now to make your escape. So I'm making... Every time I've done this quest, I've never seen anybody chase me, so I don't know what the deal is with that dialogue. And I always just walk off and I'm fine. In fact, I think I'm going to go over... I think it's bugged. I think that somebody's supposed to attack me after I do that. But I'm just going to go to the tavern and have a pint and go to sleep. I really, really like Daggerfall. It's honestly, like, it scratches a spot of my brain that no other game has ever done for me. And the problem is that it's not scratching it enough, and I want to straight up make my own Daggerfall game, like, or like mod this game or something. I don't want it to be like it's just not enough. It just isn't enough. Where do I need to return to? The temple, the singing tree of Stendar is where I'm returning to, in the Alakir Desert. And that was a long time. That was, for my character, it was a 64-hour journey, and I'm going to travel back exactly the way I came, by just 10 timesing the speed. I would, like, for somebody to say that Daggerfall is the best Elder Scrolls game, or that Morrowind is the best Elder Scrolls game, because of the classes and, like, the skills, I just don't, I don't get what's so interesting about those things. Because there's nothing interesting about the difference between having, like, a sword skill of 47 versus a sword skill of 65. There's really, like, nothing fascinating about that. I don't know. Like, when I'm playing through a dungeon, honestly, I don't even want to play I don't even want to go in the dungeons in Daggerfall anymore, because this experience that I'm having right now is just magical, and this is what I play these games for, is this beautiful feeling that, like, I can't get anywhere else. Like, where, like, it feels like I'm actually traveling through a desert and spending days and days riding on my horse and camping out at night and being attacked by monsters. That's why I play these games. I don't play these games so that I can nerd out and, like, do some mathematical stuff and, like, be like, oh, my sword gives me a +4, and now I roll 2d6. Like, that's not where the magic happens. Like, that's just mechanics. The mechanics aren't supposed to be the game. That's just the mechanics of it. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to, I mean, I am being kind of judgmental. Oh my gosh, I just realized what time it is. I have to stop. I have to go to bed. Um, but yeah. I mean, have you, like, listened to the Skyrim soundtrack while walking around underneath the starry sky at night, because like that's an experience that the other games, maybe Oblivion will give you that with its own soundtrack, but like Skyrim's the best at that, at walking underneath the moonlit sky, at night, like in the fields of Whiterun, and like the wind is blowing and the Secunda track is playing. Like you can't get that in any other game except for Skyrim. And so all of the games are good. I mean, Skyrim's the best though.